at the heart of the game.
Well, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to this Sunday's edition of Scoreline. My name is Robinson Okenye. This is the final Sunday of the year 2024. So today, in our show, we'll be taking a look at some of the top moments from the year 2024. Now, without a doubt, 2024 gave us some amazing sporting moments, such as Max Verstappen winning his fourth F1 title in 4 years in a row. And aside from that, we saw the Celtics winning their 18th NBA championships. Aside from that, we had the Olympics. We saw the USA basketball team, both men and women, winning the basketball titles at the Olympics in Paris. It was a marvelous event. Aside from that, in boxing, we saw Usyk defeating Tyson Fury twice. That happened last week, and before that, a couple of months away. Now, aside from that, we also had, legends retire from the game. Yes, Rafa Nadal retired from tennis, one of the greatest ever to ever take part in tennis in the world, a number of Grand Slam titles to his name. Now, aside from Rafa Nadal, we also had, the FIFA World Cup anniversary that will be in 2032 will be held by Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. That was announced by the world governing body, FIFA. And of course, Africa and Europe are going to host the World Cup in 2032. Now, aside from that, we also had Argentina winning Copa America, defeating Colombia in the final. Some amazing moments. So I want us to begin this show by taking a look at some of the moments that defined the year and brought some joyous memories into us. And of course, these are memories that we will always remember. Let's begin with football. And this is all about Euro 2024 that was held in Germany. And of course, the finals took place, the finals saw Spain taking on England. And Spain had the last laugh as they got a 2-1 win against England. Let's take a look at the highlights from that match.
But he has perhaps the half of his international life ahead of him now. So who dares win? Spain get the second half ball rolling.
Is to up the tempo.
Carvajal for Lamine Yamal, and Williams scores!
He's had a good night tonight. Alvaro Morata may have not really had any goal-scoring opportunities, but he's led the line well, made some intelligent runs and kept those England defenders really occupied.
For Kobbie Mainoo, who without question can hold his head up high. A young guy who has very quickly become used to the spotlight and indeed the adulation.
Sent his teammate a little wide.
And now here's Palmer, and now here's Saka, and Watkins is through the middle, and Foden is galloping too. Bukayo Saka, Bellingham, smashing hit, smashing goal, Cole Palmer!
What moments. We spoke about the moments that England have had in this tournament. The goals, stunning goals that they've needed.
Ruiz, Olmo, Oyarzabal, Cucurella, 2-1 Spain!
Of course, Spain winning Euro 2024. 2-1 was the final score against England. So England are still waiting for a major trophy to come their way for almost more than 50 years. Now, let's move away from that. Let's come to the local basketball scene. And in particular, it's all about Nairobi City Thunder. They became the first Kenyan team to ever qualify to take part in the Basketball Africa League. This was in the qualifiers that took place here in Nairobi, and they defeated Creole in the final that was played at the Kasarani.
And I don't believe they're going to attempt a shot. I don't believe they're going to attempt it and just shoot it. Oh! Didn't go in. This game is officially over. Congratulations to both squads making it to the ball. Congratulations, coaches. And I like the hug given out between players, between coaching staffs. Not going to say this was an all-star game because they both wanted to win real bad. Creole Star simply wasn't in position to compete to the best of its abilities, but it didn't matter because truthfully, the best team won tonight. Thank you everyone for following this competition in my company. And
well, of course, Nairobi City Thunder will be representing Kenya next year in the Basketball Africa League. We'll be waiting to see how they perform in that. Now, let's move away from basketball. Let's get into some rugby action. And it was an interesting year, having in mind that Kenya got back into the World Rugby Sevens series, which was a fantastic affair. But now, aside from that, Kenya also qualified for the Olympics. And in doing so, they defeated South Africa in Africa Sevens. Let's take a look at the highlights.
So, coming back against the grain, ball is available. Desperation by the Blitzbook. And under penalty advantage, man over. Another pass goes to ground, but Okoth tracking for the corner. Try time, Kenya Sevens.
Interesting score there from Kenya, really keeping it simple from this right-hand side ruck. They moved it across to the left. South Africa had too many defenders in the ruck and not enough on their feet. And Kenya get a crucial try in this second half.
Tense times, breaking the line, but defense comes back quickly. And ruck center field, penalty Kenya! Penalty Kenya! And technical team on the field, but the last whistle has not gone. Big call by the referee.
Yeah, game can't end on a penalty, so they've got to play the next play. Two Springbok players down. Kenya kick it into touch, and that is them. They have won the Olympic qualifier.
So now the game is done and dusted as the crowd streams onto the field in jubilation. And it is victory Kenya. Shuja Sevens on the rise. They've been smarting since that relegation from the HSBC Sevens core. They know.
Well, Kenya qualifying for the Olympics, getting a win against South Africa in the African qualifiers. Of course, the final score being 12-5. And aside from that, Kenya also got back into the World Rugby Sevens. And currently, of course, two legs have been played. That is in Dubai and, of course, Cape Town Sevens. And Kenya rests on position number 9. Very, very interesting to see how 2025 will unfold for the National Rugby Sevens team. That is Shujaa. Of course, next year we will be waiting to see how well they perform in different tournaments. Now, let's move away from that. Let's get into some African football action. Now, in 2024, we had the Africa Cup of Nations being held in Ivory Coast. A number of upsets for some of the big teams in Africa, such as Morocco, Ghana. But now, the final was between Ivory Coast and Nigeria. Nigeria was touted as one of the best teams in the tournament, having gone all through to the final without losing a game. And Ivory Coast were the hosts. Now, something that was very interesting about this Ivory Coast, or rather the Elephants side, is that they went through all the way to the final, but this was after failing to, or rather getting only one win in the group stage match, and they managed to get out of the group stage being the best losers. But that did not stop them, as they went all through to the final and they got a 2-1 win against Nigeria. Let's take a look at the highlights. Of course, that is the Elephants from underdogs to the top dog, winning AFCON 2024. They were the hosts and they won it at home, defeating Nigeria in the final. Of course, we saw a number of memorable, of course, events from the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations that they will be etched in our memories going forward. But that was a very interesting final as the Elephants got to put their name in the history books. Now, let's move away from football. We get into some athletics. Now, 2024 was the year of the Olympics. We had a number of memorable events that took place at the Paris Olympics, and we want to take a look at some of those moments that will forever be etched in our minds. We begin with the men's 200 meters final. Now, all eyes were on Noah Lyles. This is after he won 100 meters. So everybody thought that he was going to be the man to win the 200 meters and, of course, do a double. But one man from Botswana had other ideas. Who am I talking about? It's Letsile Tebogo. He had a fantastic year in 2024. And he showed the world what to expect in the coming years as he won, as he cruised to victory in the men's 200 meters. Let's take a look. Well, of course, Letsile Tebogo will still be the man to watch in 2025, both in 100 meters and also in 200 meters. Not forgetting our very own Ferdinand Omanyala. I'm hoping that, of course, in 2025, he will give Kenyans something to cheer about at the World Championships. Now, we are still sticking with athletics from Olympics 2024 that was held in Paris, France. And in the women's 100 meters, Julian Alfred emerged the winner. All eyes were on other participants. Nobody was talking about her, but she showed the world what she can do.
It's their turn. So here they stand in the pouring rain, the best in their country, the best on their continent, bidding to become the best in the world. An iconic moment of sport is about to unfold in all its glory. This is the women's 100-meter Olympic final. Alfred got a brilliant start in the semi-final and she's away well again. She's up on Richardson at the moment. Julian Alfred, the history maker, the gold medalist in the pouring rain. It's all sunshine for the St. Lucian Star. They've never won a medal before and now they've taken the best one of the lot. Julian Alfred has stunned Richardson, the favourite. The world champion was left in her blocks.
And Alfred just had too much, way too much tonight.
Richardson got left in the blocks as she did in the semi-finals. And
Julian Alfred winning the women's 100 meters at the Paris 2024 Olympics and doing so in a fashionable way. Now, we are still sticking with athletics and it's all about the Paris Olympics. And we switch to the men's 800 meters where Kenya's Emmanuel Wanyonyi emerged the winner, defeating Canada's Marco Arop by a tenth of a second, a race that, of course, brought joy to Kenyans.
Wanyonyi led from the off. Listen to the roar from the crowd for France's Toual, no doubt pushing him on. He was in second and pushed for the lead. World champion Arup in red and the favourite Sajati in green were at the back of the pack. Coming into the final bend, Canada's Arup started to make a move. France's Toual just couldn't keep up the pace. Algeria's Sajati overtook on the outside. So close for the gold. There was 1/100th of a second in it, but the Kenyan held on. Gold for Emmanuel Wanyonyi from Kenya in the third quickest time ever recorded at this distance. The silver went to Canadian Marco Arup, and Algeria's Jamel Sajati won the bronze.
Of course, it was a fantastic year for Kenya's Emmanuel Wanyonyi in the 800 meters, winning gold in the Olympics in Paris. And we are still sticking with athletics. And now it's the women's 1500 meters. Kenya's Faith Kipyegon set a new Olympic record as she cruised to victory in the women's 1500 meters. Let's take a look.
Finals we've witnessed so far. And wow, look at Gudaf Sege. Straight to the front. Not content to play the tactical game this time. Faith Kipyegon takes the bell in her battle for immortality. No man or woman has won the 1500 meters at 3 different Olympic Games. She's got a chance, but so too have the women behind her. Sege's gone. Her quest for glory fading quickly. Watch for Jess Hull here. She's close. Great Britain's Georgie Bell in contention. And Welteji is still in there.
Watch for Laura Muir.
Laura Muir furiously trying to close the gap. Kipyegon can taste victory, but it's not over yet. She opens up a gap. Is it big enough? Can she strike? I think she can. History beckons for the Kenyan captain. Leading from the front, leading by example. Take a moment to savour these images. We've never seen anybody win 3 in a row, and now we have. Faith Kipyegon with a new Olympic record was not to be denied. The crowning moment of a glittering career. But we've never ever seen anything like that.
Faith Kipyegon winning the women's 1500 meters at the Paris Olympics. Remember, she left the Olympics with 2 medals, women's 1500 meter gold and the women's 5000 meter silver. Now, let's get to the women's 5000 meters at the Paris Olympics. Now, the question is, which Kenyan athlete had a fantastic year? Definitely, it has to be Beatrice Chebet, setting a world record in 10,000 meters and, of course, winning the women's 10,000 meters at the Olympics, as well as winning the women's 5,000 meters at the Olympics. She brought home 2 gold medals for Kenya from the Olympics. So let's take a look at that final from the women's 5,000 meters. Remember, the women's 5,000 meters is the race that Faith Kipyegon, of course, was disqualified before being, of course, reinstated as the winner of the silver medal in that race that was won by Beatrice Chebet. Let's take a look.
Expected her an upset champ. That's why we watch.
12.5 laps around the track.
Curious about, and the marathon as well. So this is kind of modus operandum for Sifan. Come down to a big burn-up over the last 4.
So often if you have 1 or 2 fantastic athletes who will get to the front, the bell to go. Sifan Hassan now charging. She's into 4th. The Kenyans 350 from a sweep. Hassan, though, moving fast. They've left Sagai behind. What does she have coming down the backstretch? Kipyegon peeks behind. She sees Beatrice Chebet, and they are running away now from Hassan. It is Kipyegon, and it is Chebet. Beatrice Chebet, world record holder at 10,000, the world record at 1,500. Together they are sprinting for the 5,000 Olympic Championship. Which one will it be? Country women. Two of the greatest of all time. Rob Walker can't sit down. Faith Kipyegon. No, is this the one she's going to match 15 and 5? It is not. It is the strength of Beatrice Chebet pulling away the Olympic champion at 5,000 in the greatest field ever assembled. And it is Beatrice Chebet into her 10,000. And there you see Chebet, who's actually the world record at 5,000 on the roads. So she can run it in a straight line, a loop, or she can go around 12 and a half. You dream of that. Our friend John Ferrari says, what do you think about as you're just running around and around? You're thinking of that moment, all those miles as you run through.
All the way to 6 meters.
Beatrice Chebet winning the women's 5,000 meters at the Olympics. And remember, she brought home 2 gold medals. That is the women's 5,000 meters and, of course, the women's 10,000 meters. And as well as setting a record this year, that is by setting a new world record in the women's 10,000 meters. So let's move away from that and we get to a moment of history. Now, the national under-17 girls team, the junior starlets, became the first Kenyan side, men or women, to take part in a FIFA global event. That was the FIFA Under-17 World Cup that took place in the Dominican Republic. Now, they did not only participate, but got their first win at the tournament. This is after getting a 2-1 win against Mexico. Well, of course, that is rugby. We had taken a look at the rugby event, but Kenya's first ever team to participate at the World Cup, that was the Junior Starlets, and they got their first win against Mexico. 2-1 was the final score in that time. Now, let's get to the top moment of the year 2024. Yes, we had a number of events taking place. I don't know which moment, of course, that you think should have been the top moment of the year, but this is our top moment of the year 2024. It was in the Chicago Marathon, and one lady became the first woman in history to run under 2 hours, 10 minutes. Who am I talking about? Ruth Chepngetich. She won the Chicago Marathon by setting a new world record in a time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 57 seconds.
Onto Mount Roosevelt herself, so she is making her way. Oh my goodness, is she going to do it? Are we going to have another world record at the Bank of America Chicago Marathon? This is amazing to see. She has been in the lead the entire race. She is pounding it out. She looks like she's gained some more strength and is moving even quicker.
She has about 350 meters to go. She went through the half marathon faster than we've ever seen anyone on U.S. soil go through in 64:16 roughly. She's been able to hammer each and every step of the way, and this is something that she's been dreaming about, getting out up this hill, making a turn. She ran her last mile in 4:48. This is something that we will never see here in this year. I was going to say, wait a minute. I'm just so excited. Here we go. Last year we saw 2:00 on the men's side. This year, are we going to see a sub 2:10?
All right, caller, bring her in. You got it, Carrie. Here is going to be our champion, Ruth Chepngetich. What a beautiful run to have watched. This race for her, it's like she's like, I had a plan, and this is it.
Well, she is a mom. She forgoed being a cop. She is now going to break the tape of the 2024 Bank of America Chicago Marathon in a time of 2. Can I see it? Are we going to see it? Are we going to see it? 2:09 something. Let's get her here, everybody. We have seen it. another woman that has done something just like you. This is amazing right here. Amazing. Sub 210, everybody. That woman has worked so hard. She's done things in this sport that we have not seen. She did it again today.
Unbelievable. Another.
That is definitely the top moment of the year 2024. Ruth Chepngetich winning the Chicago Marathon and becoming the first woman in history to run under 2 hours 10 minutes. She set a new world record in the women's marathon by finishing that race in 2 hours 9 minutes and 57 seconds. Of course, a fantastic year to her. Now, those are the top moments of the year 2024. Definitely, we'll be looking forward to fantastic 2025. We have a couple of events lined up for the year. Personally, I'm looking forward to Chan 2025 as well as AFCON 2025 and also the World Championships, that is the World Athletics Championships, will be happening in 2025 in Tokyo. And of course, we'll be looking forward to see how Kenyans perform in a number of events that have been lined up for the year 2025. And that is how we wrap up Scoreline this afternoon. My name is Robinson Okenye. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.